Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are discussing 5 beginner diamond painting mistakes I see all the time, and they're actually some of the questions that you guys have been asking, so we are going to go over those today. And of course, right as I start, the jets fly over because why wouldn't they? Alright, let's get started. So, mistake number 1 that I often see is exposing too much adhesive, aka canvas, at once. Now, I am going to do a video on sectioning off, so that's a different story. However, this canvas in particular from Diamond Art Club already has pre-printed and pre-cut little squared off sections. Now, for me, these sections aren't too intimidating. They're honestly, see, this is the square right here. So it's a pretty good size for me. And that's basically what this square is right here. I pulled it back just based on where the lines naturally cut or perforated. But when you don't have those, or even when you have those, you have to kind of consider how much canvas you should expose. First thing I look at is how much of it is confetti versus how much is color blocking. In this case, this has a lot of color blocking, and color blocking and confetti I've already done a video on, but see here you have tons of the same symbol. That is color blocking. So opening a bigger section is easier because you're going to be covering a lot of space anyway, and a lot of this is the same number. If, however, I had confetti, which I have no example really, except maybe this here on this canvas, but say I was opening just this tiny area and I had all these different symbols, that's confetti. Like, it's just a bunch of different symbols. You don't have big blocks and chunks of the same color or symbol. I would not expose a huge area of my canvas. Now, is your glue going to dry out dramatically fast? Do you have to work quickly? No, it actually takes a while for your glue to dry out. So even if I left this open overnight, it would be fine. And hey, if your glue isn't working well, they have this, which I will have a different video on because we're keeping it simple, one thing at a time. However, when you're new, I always recommend starting with kits that have more color blocking than confetti anyway. It'll save your sanity, help you kind of pick up a rhythm. And then that said, I prefer to actually do sections no bigger than like literally a post-it note starting out. I don't like to go smaller than this. Now this is preference, but this is actually smaller than the section that was suggested by my canvas here, as you can see, because this is here. So you see how it fits in there. But if you're new, I would section off like post-it note size. It's pretty standard. And then that way you have a big enough area to cover so you're not constantly like going through washi tape or, cutting out. But then you're still not overwhelmed. Now, sometimes people will think, well, the more of the canvas I expose, the faster it goes. That's not necessarily true either, which kind of ties into, we'll call that mistake 1.5. Because the thing is even for myself, an experienced diamond painter, if I were to pull back this section and work on all of this at once, yes, there's a lot of color blocking, so I can belt those out, but the problem is you'll miss stuff all the time. I do it. I'll miss things. I'm like, gosh darn it. So I'm constantly going back and having to like reopen a set of drills as opposed to just working on one section. So that is the first mistake. Woo! Second mistake I usually see is overfilling the tray. Now, overfilling the tray is kind of one of those things where, say you have these ones here. These are the tray bricks, whatever. I use these. These bad boys you actually use for storage and your tray. So like literally it's already labeled. I pull it off the shelf. I don't have to pour it into a tray. But for the example's sake, if you have too many drills in your tray, we're going to take this tray here, you're not going to be able, I'm going to fill it all the way because this tray is smaller than my little storage brick here. So I have all these drills in here, right? Now I can't even like shake them without them coming over the edge. And then if I go to shake them down to the bottom, which is how you get your drills exposed. Look, I only have a tiny bit of space before they spill off the edge, and this is all I have to work with. Now say I have a 12 or 16 placer multi-placer. I'm going to have to constantly sit here and reshake this. So that's mistake number 2, is just overfilling your tray. Now in this one, I have deeper wells on this side, so I can actually like sit here and wiggle and shimmy all the way back, and now look at all those rows. But this is what you want. If you can't do this with your tray, with the drills you have in it, then you have too many drills in your tray. Okay, mistake number 3. Now, this one is actually a good one because it applies to products you buy from my store, and other people's as well, sold on Etsy. Pressing too hard. Now, there are some diamond painting products that will require that you press, kind of hard to get them off if they're too sticky. However, a lot are meant for light pressure. So for example, my sticky wax here, this little guy here, goes only in the single placer, by the way, but it's meant for light pressure. If you press too hard, it will actually leave residue, and sometimes the drill will get stuck inside your single placer. So for example, I will pick up a drill the good old-fashioned way with a single placer, but now I'm going to press too hard as I put it down, just so you can see. Now it's hard to tell, but it actually left like a tiny bit of residue on the drill. Now if this was freshly filled, it would actually leave a lot more because it would push my sticky wax out. Same thing goes with putty though. If you have putty in your multi-placer, really you don't need pressure like at all. This is how I pick them up. I just barely dab it down. I'm not pressing in at all. I'm just literally dabbing to grab, dabbing to grabbing, okay? And then I am just lightly putting them down. No pressure at all, even here in the 2-placer. And I still get that lovely pop. You don't actually have to push hard. Now let's try and push hard. This putty is not fresh, so it's not as tacky, but if I were to press hard, see, pressing hard, it actually keeps it staying in the multi-placer at times because this putty is like gripping onto it. Now with square drills, sometimes you think, oh, I've got to press hard because sometimes you got to wiggle those bad boys in between rows. You still don't have to press hard. You can still press light. The thing is diamond painting, if you press too hard, you're actually going to kill your wrist. So again, I am not even pressing down. I am literally just putting the pen over it and letting the putty do the work to pick it up. And then I am just dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. And the only reason you're getting that pop sound is because the adhesive of the canvas is grabbing the drill and the putty is letting go. So again, I just dab to pick these up, and I am just barely dotting to put them down. Now, if your putty or anything is too fresh or too sticky and it's not letting you do light dabs like that, just use your hand. This is just an extra tip. Use your hand like that. The oils will often loosen it up, or sometimes you just gotta take a sleeve and like dirty it up a little bit. Some putty is tackier than others. So that is another common mistake, is pressing too hard. But trust me, your hands will actually thank you for this. Like you'll be like, oh my gosh, I feel so relieved. So that is the third. The fourth is obsessing over perfectly straight drills. If you are new to diamond painting, your drills are not going to be straight. Even if you're not new to diamond painting, sometimes your drills just aren't going to be straight. It depends on the canvas, how you're placing them, and honestly, how much time you are spending putting them down. Weep. For me, I try to stick to round drills because round drills are a little bit more forgiving when it comes to having them straight. Whereas squares, you can definitely see when they don't become straight. But say you have some drills that aren't straight. It's probably hard to see on my canvas here, but you can see like little wiggles of the lines there. If it's really killing you, get this. This is a straightening tool. You can actually put it in between the rows, and then you just do that and get them all back in line. But you'll have to go all the way. So you'll have to go both ways. They do have those stencils. I find those incredibly obnoxious, but if you want to use them, to each their own. And you just sit here and straighten, sit here and straighten. But do you see how tedious that can get after a while to sit here and have to constantly straighten your drills? So granted, yes, it would be better if they went down straight the first time around, but that's the thing. So, do you need to obsess over it? You want them straight enough to cover the symbol, okay? So if it's off enough to where the symbol or this little circle is showing, then you want to fix that, because circles, as you can see here, let's zoom in even more. Woo! Okay, circles will have gaps. They're not like squares where they're perfectly together, so there's gaps in the canvas. But as long as the color is peeking through, that color is meant to peek through. That's the point. It's filling in the gap that a square drill wouldn't. If, however, it's moved over enough where you can see a little bit of the symbol, just wiggle it over. You can use your straightening tool. If it's really stuck on there, then you're going to have to use the tweezers. But you really don't need to fret over it outside of the fact that if it's showing the symbol or the line, then you need to straighten it out a little. Okay? But even here, I have some that are just, see how that is a little crooked? I can sit here and straighten these. It's not a big deal. Just use my straightening tool and get them back in line. Does it take some time? Yes, but I mean, that's up to you how much time you want to take. Okay. Lastly is really important because I learned this the hard way. Now, the last one is trying to use a multiplacer before learning how to just pick up and place drills in the first place. So obviously you start with your single placer and eventually you want to move to the multiplacer, especially when you have color blocking, because otherwise, well, single placing gets tedious. One thing you will notice I do is I rarely actually use my single placer. I use my multiplacer, and see, even where I have just one spot, I'm setting one down. Now, if I had pressed hard when I picked up these drills, they would be too stuck to this putty to release for me to even use it like this. Just fun fact. But you still need to start with the basics. Always start with just getting used to picking up your drill lightly and putting it down on your canvas with a single placer. It's just some practice. Then move up to like a 2 or a 3 placer. Then work your way from the 4 to the 7, and eventually you can go up to the 12s and higher. But the bigger your multiplacer tool gets, the more it is important that you know how to pick them up off the tray, which I'll do in a different video, because I'll show you with the different ones, because this is not the biggest multiplacer by any means, actually. But once you get into the really big ones that can cover a ton of space, it is crucial that you have these bad boys straight in here, but you're also picking them up straight. Otherwise, you are going to spend nothing but time having to straighten everything back out. So work your way up, because if you're a beginner, you're supposed to enjoy the process. Enjoy the fact that you're learning how to diamond paint, or that you're just diamond painting, because it's relaxing and it's fun and you're making a picture without having to paint it. So those are the 5 most common mistakes I see with people new to diamond painting, and guess what? All of them are super easy to get over and fix. And in fact, some of them you can fix like right now with your painting you have in front of you. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Like I said, this whole series is literally Diamond Painting 101, but every video is going to cover something very specific, which keeps it short. I could sit here and say 20 things to know, which eventually I will do, but we are literally going with the basics, which is why I have a video about reading symbols. I have a video about color blocking versus confetti. So check out the Diamond Painting 101 series, because it's really important I cover one thing at a time. But leave your comments below about questions you have, because the more I see the same one brought up, the higher up on the list it goes, because I have a list already that's like over 50 something topics. So until next time, take care. Bye now.